Do you have a pattern in your life where you seem to attract the wrong people, whether that be in relationships or friendships, and just can't seem to figure out why or how to break it? Well, in this video, we're going to look at exactly that. Why we attract people that maybe we don't believe are best for us and what we can do about it. So why do we tend to attract the wrong types of people? And it comes down to what happened to us in our early life experiences, particularly 0 to 7, but all through childhood and adolescence. We're particularly susceptible to taking on beliefs, some of the beliefs being very deeply unconscious, some not so deeply held, but nevertheless still influencing the way that we process the world and what we tend to draw towards us. So the answer is we're not necessarily consciously drawing these people towards us, but we are potentially unconsciously drawing the wrong types to us. And before we go further into this topic, I also wanted to flag the concept of, or this definition of what is wrong with the people that we draw into our lives, because on a purely superficial level or a three-dimensional level, so to speak, it might be obvious that these people aren't healthy for us in the way that we conflict with them or they treat us poorly, etc. But on a deeper soul level, potentially we've drawn people into our lives to help us find these hidden aspects of ourselves that we haven't been able to access otherwise and reflect back where the healing work needs to be done. So what can we do about it? How do I shift this pattern? And the answer is always going to involve doing the deeper inner work. Now, when you hear people say that, do the work, okay, maybe that phrase is thrown around a little bit too loosely at times, but there's a real truth to it. It's not a cliche. Unless you are going to experientially work with these aspects of yourself, the parts of yourself that are stuck in certain ways of operating subconsciously or unconsciously, then there's a good chance it's going to continue to play out the way it has. I tend to really gravitate towards the internal family systems model. I find that model offers a brilliant way of working with our parts, the parts that have been wounded, the parts that are trying to protect us. And once we form a connection with these parts of ourselves and show them understanding and compassion in these inward experiences, these moments of experiencing the connection with them and understanding them, they tend to be willing to soften up and cooperate and shift from the way they've been operating. If you've had no experience doing any of this kind of work, then it's advantageous to potentially work with a practitioner, someone like myself, or someone else that you would prefer to work with, and really have them guide you through how to access the work with your parts. If you want a bit of a head start and you think you can explore on your own, or you're interested in exploring on your own, I find that the Enneagram can be a very handy tool to help track down what these unconscious core beliefs are that are your autopilot and the parts that may be operating out of balance. You'll find a free resource on my website that helps you to use the Enneagram as a way to narrowing down the key players, so to speak, in your inner world and where you might be able to start to help bring some inner balance to the unconscious factors at play, drawing in the wrong people. The other thing to really get clear on when it comes to a friendship or a relationship is where you're coming from. Really being honest with whether you're coming to any kind of relationship from a place of want or a place of need. Because anytime you come to a connection with another human being from a place of needing someone or something to fill a void, that's coming from a place of lack. And so, again, this highlights the importance of getting connected with yourself and doing the healing work so that you don't unconsciously feel the need to be rescued by someone else or completed by someone else, just like the movies like to portray, with the two halves of the heart coming in to make one whole heart. No, you are whole completely on your own. You are completely worthy and enough on your own, but sometimes our unconscious patterning lies to us that and takes us away from the knowing that we are complete. Another very practical thing that you can do is to map out the red flags that you've potentially skimmed over from the past. So look at your past relationships. Look at where you've seen early warning signs that the individual you're getting involved with was perhaps not going to be good for you, and you skimmed over those and ignored them. When you have a clear list of what you tend to do, and it might not be exactly the same in every relationship or friendship, but there certainly could be patterns of only seeing the best in someone or making excuses for someone who clearly isn't thinking of you, or making excuses for an imbalanced or lopsided set of interactions between you and another human being. You can be ready for seeing those patterns in action in future relationships and friendships. And so the bottom line is, you're not broken when it comes to looking at this pattern of attracting the wrong people. You've just been programmed a certain way, and yet you potentially haven't delved into that programming. And if you feel like you have done that inner work and healed a lot of those wounds and softened up those overprotective parts, then it could very well be the case that you have deliberately drawn people that you see as not healthy for you into your life for personal growth, that your soul has contracted to have these experiences to help you to step into your power, to realize who you really are. But certainly as you work on undoing that unhealthy programming, if that is what is at play, as that changes, so do the people you draw towards you. Thanks for watching.